Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. Welcome to the Weekly Compass. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the energies that may surface for November 2nd through the 8th. Before I get into the reading, I just want to quickly mention I am offering a new service for those of you who like my monthly numerology life path forecast. I'm offering personal month ahead forecast on my website. So we'll take a look at your own personal energy for the month. We'll break it down into the 4 weeks and take a really deep dive into your personal energies. And then we'll pull an animal spirit card again to kind of get an overall message. So if that's something you're interested in, then my information is in the description box below. Go ahead and book some time with me. Okay. And I also want to preface this reading by saying this is absolutely not a political post. However, I do live in the United States, and I do feel as though I'm feeling the energies around this election pretty strongly. So I do feel like as I look at the energies for the upcoming week, what's coming in for me is sort of centered around that. So I just want to let you know that I'm not, going to go into politics at all. Just looking at the energy. And I do feel that even if you don't live in the United States, there's still going to be an energetic impact as, however the election turns out. So I just wanted to preface it by saying that, but to make it very clear, this is not a political post. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled a animal spirit card for the week, and we got Blue Heron. And Blue Heron is saying, which is interesting, make a stand, believe in, and do what feels right in spite of any judgment or disapproval from others. And I love that message because I feel like we are definitely in an energetic period where, opinions are flying and, other people are trying to influence us and we may be trying to influence others. And it's just a really intense time energetically. And so I do think it's really important to continue to find our own equilibrium, find our own balance, and continue to stay true to what feels right for us. I will also add that I think it's important to do that without harming others, right? And without doing so in an aggressive, hurtful way, right? There's a way that we can choose to stand in our power, and that can either be energetically low vibe or energetically high vibe. And so we get to choose how we show up for that. So choose accordingly. But that's Blue Heron's message. And I think that's pretty wise to try to drown out the external noise, go within, follow your own inner guidance, use the external as resources, but don't allow yourself to be pressured by the chaos. Okay. As we move into the beginning of the week, it's interesting, we have this energy of sort of wait and see. And what I'm really feeling there is that we are not going to have the whole story. We are not going to have, there's a lot of illusions at play. And so we're not going to have everything that we need to make a clear, decisive decision in that moment. And so however that comes in for you, okay, it can be, how you're showing up to the world externally. It can be about relationships. It can be about career and purpose. It comes back to not having all of the information. And so holding off on making any extreme decision, okay, if that makes sense. So not making any decisive decision or taking any extreme decisive action at this time, okay? Because there's more at play and more will reveal itself in the months to come, okay? So again, however that shows up for you, but that's really the call, is just come back to your center and just continue to wait for the additional information to surface and for the path to sort of reveal itself. Okay, so again, basically, let me tie this back into like relationships. So if you're in a relationship and, there's not a immediate threat of danger or something like that, obviously that's a different situation. But if you're in a relationship and you feel like things aren't working and you really just need to leave or whatever, this is kind of a call to just hold on for a moment, just hold off for just a second, because you don't have all of the information just yet. And you don't want to make a rash decision and then second guess that decision down the road when the damage has been done, if that makes sense. So again, I'm not telling people to leave somebody or not leave somebody if the relationship needs to end or whatever, but you understand what I'm trying to say. There's just this energy of you don't have the whole story just yet or all of the pieces to the puzzle. So just hold off just a little bit, be patient, be open to the messages that come in for you, and kind of wait and see. Then we move into midweek. And again, there's this strong energy coming up around coming together, being open to the perspectives and opinions of others, even if you don't agree with them. So it's kind of like this energy of asking yourself, what's more important to me? Is it more important to show up in a hostile way, in anger and frustration and kind of, again, hostility towards another who you don't agree with their position, their stance, what feels right for them, that sort of thing. And we bring it back to Heron Spirit, who has said, make a stand for what you believe in and do what feels right for you in spite of any judgment or disapproval from others. That's great. But guess what? That also means that we have to be accepting and understanding of others who are doing the same thing, who are showing up in their truth, in what they believe, in what their experiences have shown to them. And so remember, our perspectives, our actions are so driven by our perspectives, right? And a lot of times our perspectives are driven by our experiences. So it's kind of like, can we really fault another for not believing what we believe or showing up in a way that we expect them to show up? So this energy in the midweek is really about allowing and acceptance and surrendering to the fact that it is okay to believe what you believe. It's okay to stand up for what you believe in. It's okay to, stand in your truth. But that's where it sort of ends. You don't have, nor should you have, the control over another to change their beliefs or change their viewpoints. All you can do is be a resource, show up, stand in your truth, and lead by example. And if they are drawn to you, then they'll be drawn to you, and there can be an open dialogue. But again, it's this trying to force another to, succumb to the pressure, to believe what you believe, or, and vice versa, them doing that to you. It's just, it creates this extreme divisiveness. It creates this extreme hostility. And, we're over 1 billion people on this planet moving through our own individual, unique journeys and experiences. We're not meant to change the course of another person. We're not meant to have that kind of influence. We are all meant to follow our own divine truth and inner light. And so when we try to control another's experience, we're actually trying to take their power away, in a sense. They have to experience what they're experiencing. They have to move through what they're moving through. And again, we can be a resource for them, but we aren't meant to dictate or change their course, okay? So again, and they're not meant to do that to us either. And so when we try to do that to another, that's where the discord happens. That's where the friction happens. And so it's really a call this week. No matter what happens, no matter what comes up, the only person that you are responsible for, the only one that you have control over, what you do and what you believe in and that sort of thing is you, right? And so again, there is strength in being able to come back to your center, to be able to follow your truth, even when the external world doesn't get it. And again, there's a level of power in trusting that another person has that same capability of being able to do that, and that the path that they are on is the one that they are meant to be on as they move through their individual journey and learn the things that their soul came here to learn, right? We don't want to get in the way of that. So why are we trying to do that? So again, however, the midweek plays out, it's, again, finding a way to come together, to bridge the gap, to find harmony, to find balance. Even if we don't agree with what's happening or the other person or whatever, we need to rise above that. We need to find that space that is, that holds some level of harmony, where we are accepting of, our fellow human beings, where we are accepting of another's beliefs, even if they are so entirely different from ours. Because again, that's their journey. That's, in our journey, we may believe something and just, others just don't see it, but that's okay if it feels true for us. So again, midweek is really about acceptance, understanding, coming together, even if it's difficult. And I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of chaos, a lot of push and pull, a lot of friction in the external collective. So it's how we choose to show up to that. The more people that choose to show up in, a peace offering or having some level of harmony or understanding and acceptance, the more that collectively the energy shifts, okay? So however that comes in for you, but that's really what's coming in really strongly, is how can you contribute to creating the balance and the harmony collectively, as opposed to showing up and influencing and fueling the fire for divisiveness, okay? Then we move into the end of the week, and again, it's interesting because we have this energy of just pure bliss, pure joy, pure harmony, gifts from the universe coming in, synchronicities, and, almost like opportunities showing up. But really what I'm feeling, and I know that people hate to hear this because I say it kind of often, but I am really feeling like it's going to be this energy of choice. Again, I do feel like, collectively there's going to be some discord, okay? And so again, we can choose to participate in that, and we can choose to be a part of that, be kindling to that fire, or we can choose to find our inner harmony, our inner bliss, our inner joy, and move from that space, okay? Not being like, not avoidance, not being Pollyanna, not being like everything is positive and beautiful and wonderful, but there is something to be said about finding your inner harmony, your inner joy, your inner balance, because once you find that, once you feel what that feels like, then you instantly know when you fall out of that balance. And so then you can work to move back into it. Because again, there's always going to be polarities. There's always going to be extremes. There's always going to be those, good, bad, light, dark, whatever. Those are there for a reason. They're always going to be there, but we get to choose how we participate in that. And so what the universe is saying is there is a lot of joy to be found within your personal existence. There is a lot of happiness and peace and calm and tranquility to be found in your own personal existence. Sometimes you have to, dig deep. Sometimes you have to, sift through the ashes to find it, but it's there. And so it's kind of like, if you can find that, then that continues to give you hope to move forward, to multiply that, okay? And so I do feel like there is this opportunity at the end of the week to find pure bliss, to find your joy, to find what drives you and brings you passion and joy and love and all of that. But again, I feel like it's going to really have to start from within, and then that will influence how you show up to the external, okay? Because again, I don't think that the chaos, that the discord, that the aggression, that all of those things in the external at the moment, I don't think those are going anywhere anytime soon anyway. So it's, again, a call to pay attention to how you're showing up to that. Are you going to choose to be a part of it, or are you going to choose to create your own path that is much more balanced and in harmony, okay? So however that comes in for you, but that's really what I'm feeling pretty strongly for this week. I feel like it could be a challenging week if we allow it to be. I feel like, there's going to be things that come up. There's going to be emotions that come up for people that need to be experienced and that need to be felt, but they don't necessarily have to be acted on. And there's a distinct difference between feeling and acting, right? So it's kind of like we can feel the emotions that come up. We can, stand in our truth, but what are we going to continue to facilitate? What are we going to continue to contribute to? All right. So I hope that it's a wonderful week for everybody. Yeah, so just remember you're in the driver's seat. You're always in the driver's seat. So however it comes in for you, but that's the message for this week. I hope it's beautiful for you all. I hope that you're able to show up to it in a gentle way as you move through the energies. Until next time, take care. Bye for now.